We often look at the peak of a career and assume it began with a rare gift. But a close look at the data suggests that extreme wealth and high achievement are rarely products of raw talent. This represents James Clear's lagging measures. Net worth, knowledge, and fitness result from daily decisions. The spike happens after small inputs compound. Because winners and losers share targets, goals don't explain success. Real progress is driven by the underlying system converting goals to actions. To identify these systems, researcher Thomas Corley spent 5 years documenting the daily routines of 233 wealthy individuals and 128 people living in poverty. The disparities are massive. 88% of the wealthy read 30 minutes daily versus 2% of the struggling. 44% wake up 3 hours early, compared to 3%. 76% exercise aerobically. 2/3 watch under an hour of TV, and 70% consume under 300 junk food calories. High performers automate these behaviors by offloading them from the energy-intensive prefrontal cortex to the basal ganglia, the brain's storage center for habit loops. This loop consists of 4 steps: a cue that predicts a reward, a craving to change your internal state, the actual response of the habit, and the final reward that satisfies the craving. Behavior that is incongruent with the self will not last. This core, the identity, acts as a gravitational pull. If your self-image is that of a consumer rather than a creator, you will eventually be pulled back towards spending rather than building. Once that identity is aligned, success becomes a matter of ruthless prioritization. This is summarized in Gary Keller's focusing question. What is the one thing you can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Answering that question requires ignoring everything else. Multitasking creates massive cognitive friction. Switching between complex tasks causes a switching cost that can lead to a 28% loss in total productivity. By focusing on a single task, high performers spend the majority of their time on Quadrant 2 activities, tasks like relationship building and long-term planning that build wealth over years, even when they aren't urgent today. This internal engine of identity and singular focus is powerful, but it must be adapted to survive the external realities of different global markets. In the African market, building a startup means navigating a complex local context that often operates on a different logic than Western productivity frameworks. Traditional local culture is often polychronic. It prioritizes human relationships, fluid schedules, and managing multiple interconnected tasks simultaneously. This contrasts with the monochronic time system required by global business, which demands linear schedules, absolute punctuality, and a singular focus on execution. How do the most successful regional entrepreneurs navigate this clash between relationship-centric culture and execution-centric business? Evidence from regional leaders suggests they succeed by integrating both paradigms rather than choosing one. They leverage polychronic relationship building to foster deep loyalty and trust within their local networks, an asset that strict timetables would often destroy. Simultaneously, they enforce monochronic standards on the core promises of the business, demanding precise product quality and uncompromising reliability on payments. Mastering this dichotomy, fusing cultural fluidity with disciplined execution, allows these leaders to scale across the continent while competitors remain trapped in a single paradigm. There is one final shared habit that subverts the popular narrative of an 18-hour daily grind. Researcher Alex Sujong Kim Pang's study of elite performers reveals that world-class achievement is sustained through periods of deep, deliberate rest. High-impact leaders like Oprah Winfrey use their early hours for intense focus and meditation, capitalizing on peak willpower before the day's distractions begin. After these periods of deep work, they stop. They protect their sleep and engage in active rest, like Branson's tennis games, to recharge the cognitive resources needed for the next day's decisions. Wealth creation isn't a product of constant activity. It is the result of identity-based habits, singular focus, cultural integration, and disciplined rest. What is the one small habit you can change today to cast a vote for your new identity? Choose it, execute it, and then have the discipline to step away and rest.